This is a dot cake, but if you're new here, guys, I'm not a baker. This isn't cake. It is a foaming body scrub that literally looks just like a dot cake. Hey, what's up? My name is Tara. I formulate cosmetics. So if you guys like what you see, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check out all the other formulas I've shared on my channel. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the free formula to recreate this foaming body scrub that literally looks like a dot cake. Don't eat it, guys. Big disclaimer on that. The first ingredient you need is 20 grams of stearic acid. This will help create the structure to your scrub. And down below, I have linked to the exact ingredients I purchased. So yours can turn out just like mine. If you buy ingredients from different suppliers, it can change the final outcome of your product. Then I'm using 60 grams of DLS. And this is what's going to help create that foam and lather. And it will also help dissolve down that SCI, which is our next ingredient, SCI powder, sodium cocoa isothianate. This is a surfactant. It helps create the lather and foam. It's what makes all the bubbles and stuff, along with the DLS. Then I'm using a combination of 20 grams of glycerin and 20 grams of sorbitol. These are both humectants, and the sorbitol will actually help create structure to the scrub as well, and it'll help keep that fluffiness to the scrub. Then I have 70 grams of distilled water. This is a diluent, and the DLS surfactant also contains some water, but I want to add in a bit more. Then I'm using this marshmallow cream fragrance oil from Natural Bulk Supplies. I know this is a cake, and maybe I should use like a cake scent, but this literally smells like the most delicious like vanilla treat ever, and it's my favorite fragrance, so that's what I'm using. I'll link to it down below if you want to use it yourself. Other than that, you can use whatever fragrance you want. And for the exfoliant, I highly recommend cane sugar. You don't need to use the same brand, but I'll link to it down below. But some kind of like coarse sugar, like cane sugar or like castor sugar maybe, those work best for foaming scrubs, in my opinion. Then you want to get the hundreds and 1000s or perline sprinkles. I don't know. I'll put on the screen what people call them. Hundreds and thousands is what they call it other places in the world, and we call them like perline sprinkles here in the US. I don't really know, whatever, but you need that for the top. And then of course you need a preservative. I'm using Liquid Dermal Plus. I've also tried this formula using Euxyl PE 9010, which is phenoxyethanol and ethyl hexaglycerin. So you could use that too if you want. All right, bringing this all together, grab a sanitized heat safe bowl and add in your phase A ingredients. That is the stearic acid, the DLS, the SCI, glycerin and sorbitol, and the distilled water. And when you work with SCI, since it's a really fine powder, you want to make sure you have a respirator. So yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're not breathing that in. Make sure you wear a respirator. Then mix everything together. You want to mix the SCI powder in until it becomes like a milky kind of like consistency. It might have a little bit of chunks in it still, but try to break up that SCI as much as you can. Then you want to make a water bath. A water bath is a pan filled with about an inch or so of water. You really don't want to add too much water in it because we're going to place our bowl in there as well, and we don't want the water to overflow. And this creates sort of like an insulation, so your ingredients aren't on that direct heat and it doesn't get super hot. This is called a water bath. And we're going to heat everything up until the SCI fully dissolves into everything and the stearic acid has melted. And you will know this happens because the solution becomes kind of clear. It might still be a bit opaque, but it will definitely be more clear than it was before. And just make sure everything is broken up and you have a nice smooth jelly consistency. Then this is when you can remove it from heat and grab your stand mixer. Now, you're doing this while it's still hot. Just go ahead and remove it from heat and pour it into your stand mixer. And then start mixing it on just a low setting at first for about like a minute or so. And just increase the speed one by one until you get to the highest speed and let it mix for about like maybe 10 minutes or so. I don't know. You'll see it start to get fluffy and white. You will know when it's done, basically. Look at how much that fluffed up. If you don't have a stand mixer and you're hand mixing this, have fun. It'll hurt your arms. Definitely recommend getting a stand mixer if you can. I know they're really pricey, but now that I'm using this, it's game changing. Anyway, once it's nice and fluffy and cool to around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, You can add in your heat sensitive ingredients. That's the preservative and the fragrance oil. We're going to add in the castor sugar tomorrow, you'll see. But for now, let's go ahead and mix all that up until it's nice and fluffy. And it is important to mention that since the fragrance oil I'm using is vanilla, and if you use a cake scented one, it will probably have a high percentage of vanilla. It will turn your product brown over time. That's just how it is. And you know what? I kind of don't mind it because it kind of helps fit that like cake color look. But yeah, you should have this like really fluffy consistency. It looks like icing or something. It's gorgeous. And a hand mixer, it should get you this consistency as well, but a stand mixer is so much easier. All right, so here we are the next day. It's a bit more brown if you can notice. Actually, it's a few days later, but you can do it the next day. You can probably even do it the day of. I always wait till the next day though. Go ahead and pour in your sugar. And it's a high percentage of sugar, 70.5% sugar. I promise it will all mix in. And the best way to do it is with your hands. And this is when it starts to fluff up and you notice it has this like gorgeous kinetic sand-like texture. This is by far my favorite scrub recipe. I've made it so many times, but like different versions of it. And I just love this one. Like, look at how it like literally looks like cake batter. And again, the browning of that vanilla fragrance and the brown tint from the cane sugar helps create that color. And it literally just looks like peanut butter cookies here or something. And you should easily be able to pick it up and use it and like move it around and it won't stick to your gloves. Gorgeous consistency here. I absolutely love it. I recommend getting the same exact surfactants I use, like buying from the same suppliers. Otherwise, the consistency could come out different. But if you play around with the formula, you should be able to get something similar to this. But all the exact ingredients I use will be linked down below. Then the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Just fill up your jars. I found these jars with clear lids on Amazon and I thought they would be perfect for this so you could see the sprinkles on the top. And yeah, just fill up your jars. And I like to do this with my hand and then I flatten the top. All right, and then I bought these sprinkles. They're, I guess we call them nonpareils here in the US. I don't know, I've never heard them referred to that. I always just call them round sprinkles. And then apparently everyone else calls them hundreds and 1000s. Let me know, well, what do you call these sprinkles? But I found them on Amazon. I'll link to them down below. Just pour them in a bowl. That's what I did. And then just dip your scrub in there and there you go. Now, eventually, like this probably will like bleed. I don't know how well these would hold up if you sold them at all. This has not gone through any challenge testing at all. But this is fun to make for yourself. It's fun to gift to friends. The sprinkles do dissolve in water, so they should be safe in the bath. And they look really cute. But yeah, eventually the colors could bleed. Yeah, I don't know how long the sprinkles will look pretty on top if they just sit on the shelves for a while. But I thought this was a fun DIY and it looks good enough to eat. And I just love the clear lids and how you can still see the sprinkles. I had fun making this, and yeah, don't eat this if you decide to make it at home. Let me know if you guys decide to recreate this, and if you guys want step-by-step directions written out to go along with this formula, go over to my Patreon, and you can get access to every single formula I've ever shared in the past, all the exclusive ones, and 2 bonus videos every single month. Hope to see you guys over there. Talk to you later, Lab Cats. Also, don't forget to go over and check out my Patreon where I post 2 exclusive videos every single month. So there is a ton of videos you can go over and binge watch for only $5 a month. Also, if you don't have access to Patreon in your country, you can sign up as a YouTube member instead. If you sign up for the $10 tier on my Patreon, you get a shout out for your small business. I'll have all these brands linked below. naturesmagicllc.com. From Dusk Soapery on Etsy, LloydCandleCompany.com, HB Royal Retreat Store on Etsy, NaturesFarmGirl.com, Let's Blend LLC, at Stardust Bath and Body, HempyGirl.com, ShopLevi's.com, Owl and Lily over on Etsy, Skin Lounge Co. over on Etsy, BlackPetalBeauty.com, EmbraceBeautyEssentials.com, LegendaryBathandBody.com, AstariApothecary.com, Reviga Cosmetics here on YouTube, exorebb.com, pardonaturals.com, naturalstateskin.com, thenatureins.ca, nearcatalier.com. Use the code on the screen for 20% off. earthandambernaturals.com, sharkcitynaturals.com, daytorelaxproducts.shop, crownedgloryllc.com, lhscentedsoapsandmore.com, JanaeRose.com, Health Nut Beauty on Etsy, VelvetTemptations.com, JourneyRoseBeauty.com, CHRBrands.com, Homestead Life Goods on Etsy, CanellaBathandBody.com, MadhouseMamaSoaps.com, XPO.com, Mystical Morning on Etsy, allthingsscent.net, snoota.square.site, 7th House and Oak on Etsy, and mycrownandglory.com. Thank you so much for you guys' support. Without you guys over on Patreon, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, so thank you so much.